Well, this was hard, but not too hard. I thought today we'd discuss my absolute 20 favorite fragrances in my entire collection. We're not factoring in dollar amounts, niche, designer, cheapie, clones, whatever. Just if all of a sudden this place caught fire and I had to hurry up and scrounge and I could only fit 20 fragrances in my arms, these are the 20 I would try to bundle up. Stay tuned. So some of these are going to surprise you, but just because they're not in the top 20 doesn't mean they're not in the top 30, 40, or 50, which maybe one day, but for right now, we're going to go through them pretty quick because I don't want this to be too long of a video for you guys. And of course, I'm going to have to keep an Acqua di Gio fragrance, and it's probably not the one you're thinking. Acqua di Gio Absolu. Yes, I'm a big advocate for Profumo. Love that fragrance, but I've learned to love this one even more. Between the scent and the compliment factor on this thing and the performance, just all around, checks all the boxes for my tastes because I have so many fragrances that'll work well with the attire I currently have on that I can have something fun and playful and just something I just enjoy smelling that everybody around me enjoys smelling. So none of this is ranked. This isn't number 20 and it's definitely not number 1 either, but Acqua di Gio Absolu. So in regards to when I start getting into this, if the houses fit, I kind of just stuck them together, whether it's in the same line or same house. I stuck them all together, so we'll just run through that house. And we're starting off with Dior here. You know I love my Dior fragrances, and I absolutely love Dior Homme. The original. I'm going to have to grab this one for sure. It's a classic. It's timeless. It goes great with my work setting, great with what I'm wearing right now, sports jacket and Oxford. I just love Dior Homme, the original Dior Homme, not that new crap they put out in 2020. I don't care for that. That can burn if this place sets on fire. But Dior Homme, the original, one of my favorites for sure. Sticking with the Dior Homme line, you know I gotta have Dior Homme Parfum. And even though I can only grab 20 fragrances, I gotta find a way to squeeze the backup bottle for this in too, because I gotta have both bottles of this. This is, got to have this. This is such a good fragrance. I know there's some people out there that don't like it, but I love the way this smells. This is in my top 5 overall. Like if I grab 5 fragrances, this is one of those 5 because love me some Dior Homme Parfum. It was love at first sniff. The performance on it is beyond stellar. I just love the way it smells. It encompasses so many great things about what a fantastic masculine fragrance should be, to my nose anyway. Dior Homme Parfum. We're still in the house of Dior, and you know I gotta grab my favorite from the Sauvage line, Sauvage Parfum, which I actually haven't busted this out in a little while, and we're definitely due. Getting to be that fall season rolling around the corner. That's when I like to wear stuff like this. Gonna be busting this one out real soon. I advise you, if you can find a good price on this fragrance and you like vetiver, which I traditionally don't, and that should speak volumes if I'm recommending a vetiver heavy fragrance. And I'm a guy that doesn't really like vetiver. This stuff is phenomenal. It's definitely one of my favorite fragrances. Next, some swear by the EDT, some swear by the EDP, which I understand, but I've learned to really love Dior Sauvage Parfum. It's my favorite of the 3. I love the way this smells. It has surprising performance. Not surprising from a longevity standpoint, but from a projection standpoint. It projects off of me better than people give it credit for because it's so easy to go anosmic and nose blind too, that it smells like it's gone or real close to the skin, but actually there's a real nice scent bubble going on around you, at least in my experience anyway. And I'm gonna have to have an Ambroxan heavy fragrance, and I figure why not grab what is my current favorite Ambroxan heavy fragrance. And I know some of you are saying, oh, but that's not in the note breakdown. I assure you, you smell the Ambroxan's in there in Dior Sauvage Parfum. It is not lacking Ambroxan, I assure you. And in my opinion, it's the best one. Now, believe it or not, I'm only taking one out of this line, even though I do love the entire line. It's Viktor & Rolf Spice Bomb Extreme. Now, at the recording of this, the original Spice Bomb was actually my scent of the day. And it lasted all day long too. It performs very well on my skin still. Projects very heavy for the first 2 hours, still projecting pretty well into the 3rd and 4th hour with a good little scent bubble. And it went like 8 or 9 hours on my skin today. But, you know, there's so many others I would have to grab that I'm just gonna grab my favorite out of that line. This is definitely one of my 20 favorite fragrances in my collection. It's fantastic for cooler weather, fantastic for date nights. It performs, it checks every box if you like sweet and spicy for sure. Spice Bomb Extreme. Next is one of the newer releases from Happyland Studios. And we're starting to get into that time of year when I'm gonna be able to bust it out and start to try to put a little bit of a dent in this bottle. El Gudo. The apple and brandy in this, it's got kind of a grape smell to it, really, and I think that's my mind playing tricks on me with the purple label. Oh, but that apple brandy. It is so, so, so good. If you like sweet boozy, fruity sweet boozy, El Gudo. It performs fantastic, just like all of his fragrances. Extrait de Parfum concentration. I just, you know, it kind of bumped Paisley Sky as my favorite, and it's definitely one that in my top 20, it's there. You know what I mean? It actually bumped Paisley Sky out from being my #1 from the house, and then bumped Paisley Sky out of the top 20 altogether. Need to check this one out, folks. I'm telling you. El Gudo, Happyland Studio. And next, I've been on more of a masculine, manly scent type of kick over the last several months, aside from the florals. I mean, I do love my floral fragrances, but fougères and barbershop fragrances. And speaking of barbershop, Happyland Barbershop. I have the shave soap and the aftershave splash and the solid. I have everything barbershop from Happyland that you can get. This stuff is great. It's a classic barbershop style fragrance with a prominent, very masculine leather note. Man, 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 man. Powerful too. Really, really strong stuff. This really climbed up the ladder of the Happyland fragrances for me as well. That's my new 1 and 2 is El Gudo and Barbershop. Don't get me wrong, still love Green Irish Tobacco, still love Paisley Sky and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna have to have this one. Definitely made its way into the top 20 here in these last few months. Absolutely love this one, the way this one smells. I urge you, try sample packs from Happyland. He's got some fantastic fragrances waiting for you to get your nose on. And this is definitely one of them. That's Barbershop. Now, this is one of my favorite pickups of 2020. If and when I happen to do that video, this is definitely going to be in it. Extreme compliment getter, and it just smells incredible. That's the best way to talk about this fragrance. It just smells incredible. Samy Andraus Fragrances, Blue Sapphire. I love this juice. I actually have 2 backup bottles. Starting to put a little bit of a dent in it, but I have 2 more bottles because I don't want to run out of it. It smells so good. Every time I talk about it, I tell you what it smells like. So here we go. If you take Elysium Parfum Cologne, amp up the performance, first of all. Take the green herbaceous notes and the fougère quality, all the parts of it that make it a fougère, coumarin, tonka bean, whatever. And you take out the herbs, all the green notes, just pull it all out. And you're left with the leather, the labdanum, the wood, cedar, I believe, and the fruits. You have a citrus aromatic, no longer an aromatic fougère, and that is Blue Sapphire. That is what you're left with. In my opinion, it smells even better, and it's way, way cheaper to have this than to have Elysium. And I have Elysium, but I grabbed this more. Blue Sapphire just smells fantastic. This has just been entirely too sweet. Too sweet. Entirely too sweet for me to wear this summer, but now that it's going to start cooling off here soon, I still smell it every night when I sit in my chair. From Sensual Obsessions. It's their formula of Bond Number 9, Andy Warhol. This stuff is great. I still say, if you're only going to get one thing from Sensual Obsessions, make sure it's Andy Warhol. Oh my God, it is so freaking good. I can't stress it enough. This is one of the old frosted glass 60 ml bottles that he used to have. This is a much older batch from what's available now, but the new batches are just as good, I assure you. I have several different decants of several different batches because it is just so, so good. And I absolutely have to keep this in the top 20. I don't think it'll ever fall out because it's that good. Essential Obsessions formula, bond number 9, Andy Warhol. Now, it may shock everybody that I only have one Mancera in this top 20, but it's definitely my favorite Mancera. And it's my favorite tobacco fragrance, and it's my favorite niche winter fragrance. Well, 1A and 1B with the next one we're going to talk about. And that's Red Tobacco. A lot of you probably guessed that this would be on here because I rave about this fragrance, and I gotta wait to wear it. It's still way too hot to wear Red Tobacco because this thing is a monster. Godzilla type fragrance. Those of you that remember when I mentioned that in a video, Godzilla mode, it's beyond beast mode. This stuff is crazy strong, crazy powerful, smells so good. It's an addictive smell. It's hard to stop smelling it out of the atomizer. And when it's on your skin, it's the same thing. You're gonna keep wanting to smell yourself, and it'll be easy. You won't have to sniff your arm. You'll smell it coming off of you. Absolutely makes it in my top 20 favorite fragrances in my collection. Mancera Red Tobacco. Probably always going to be in this top 20. And with Mancera Red Tobacco, kind of 1A and 1B with my favorite winter fragrance, from the niche standpoint anyways, Parfums de Marly, Carlisle. It's another one. Absurd performance on my skin. And such a good fragrance. The sweetness in this is not overdone. It's a caramel syrupy sweetness that's not too sweet. For as weird as that sounds, you would think caramel, super sweet. Just works, guys. And that little bit of tobacco that's in here. I believe there's some guaiac wood that adds a little bit of smokiness. The note breakdown on Fragrantic is completely wrong. Don't go by that. Matter of fact, I got the note breakdown for you right there because this is a tester bottle. That's the official note breakdown for Parfums de Marly. Crazy powerful and smells crazy good. I had to have this one. Cologne, it's in my top 30. I love Parfums de Marly Cologne, but it couldn't crack that top 20. Carlisle absolutely did because this stuff is too good. Next couple are going to be a few cheapies that I have raved and raved and raved about. And this is kind of my signature fragrance. There's a lot of fragrances that out there that'll remind you of certain people on YouTube, you know. Pretty confident when you see this one. I'm usually the person that comes to mind if you even know who I am and you've watched me before, which if you're watching this right now, you know who I am and you've watched me before because you're watching me. Salvatore Ferragamo, Acqua Essenziale Blue. My favorite cheapie, in my opinion. One of the best bang for your buck fragrances on the market from discounters. Rack stores, discounters online. It's a fantastic fragrance. It's powdery without being overly powdery. It's Dylan Blue without smelling just like Dylan Blue. There's a little bit of familiarity of citrus in there. That'll give you kind of the idea of Bleu de Chanel, but it doesn't really smell like Bleu de Chanel and doesn't completely smell like Dylan Blue either, but it resembles Dylan Blue more. It kind of takes a few different things from different blue fragrances and makes its own. Acqua Essenziale Blue from Salvatore Ferragamo. You had to know this was in my top 20. Love this fragrance. And same thing as with Dior Homme Parfum. I'm going to have to grab my backup 100 ml, squeeze that in the bundle too. Because I'm going to need every drop of this if I'm only keeping 20 fragrances. And it's definitely in my top 20. I doubt it ever comes out of it because I really love this fragrance. When it comes to cheapies, in my opinion, this is the best one. Now, I did wear this several times this summer. Maybe not as much as I should have. Not as much as I wanted to in my heart. You know, I just love this fragrance. It's Davidoff Cool Water Wave. This is fantastic. If you like Invictus Aqua and you like shower gel, beach aquatic scents, you'll like this because it's all of those things. Decent performer. Nothing special, but it smells great. It doesn't project too much, but it doesn't sit too close to the skin either. You can spray it really heavy have a good old time smelling great. It's perfect outdoors in the heat. It just does it. It does it a favor when your skin's heating up and you're sweating. It's just going to project better for you. Cool Water Wave. It's one of my favorite cheapies. It's my favorite fragrance from Davidoff. It's my favorite cool water flanker. It's all of those things, and it's so cheap. 20 bucks you can get 125 ml like this. Most places online. Davidoff Cool Water Wave. Still in my top 20. Now, like I was saying earlier, I have my fair share of masculine fougères and stuff like that that I reach for. I love that type of fragrance. I do. I always have. Even as a kid, my first fragrance was a masculine barbershop fougère style fragrance, Pierre Cardin. The little splash bottle too. I love that fragrance. This smells nothing like it though. Scandal Parfum Cologne from Raja Parfums. My favorite of the line. I just think it's a fantastic fragrance. Oh man. It's green spicy. When I say that, the herbaceous qualities in it give it the spice. There's no cinnamons, it's not full of peppers and stuff like that. Good old-fashioned herbaceous quality. Spice. The herbs in it are beautiful. They really are. It's going to remind you of some things, but the quality on this one's just so great and so grand. So honored to have this fragrance because I think it's that good. It's a lifer for me. I wear it on certain occasions just like I do with a few others that are on this list, and this is definitely one of those. It goes perfect with what I'm wearing right now, and I start busting out the sports jackets a lot more as it starts to cool down, so you'll see this in the rotation quite a bit more. Definitely one of my top 20 favorite fragrances. So not everybody will agree with me, but it's just what it is. It's my favorite. It's my favorite La Nuit de l'Homme. Le Parfum. I really enjoy this fragrance. I do. I feel like it's just a better, more mature version. Dressier, classier version of the original. It's good stuff. Just the right amount of performance and projection for what I like to wear it for. Evening wear, dates, dinner, stuff like that. It's become my go-to since I got it. I just think it's really good. It'll be sad one day when they discontinue it if they haven't already, but I am glad to have a bottle because I may never go through the bottle because it's situational for me and I do have 100 milliliters. But I'm very, very happy to have it because I do believe it's a fantastic fragrance that fits my taste for what I like to use it for. My favorite, La Nuit de l'Homme, Le Parfum. The next two, you're fully expecting to be in this top 20 because, yep, they're never leaving it. Paco Rabanne's Invictus Acqua. The fragrance that has gotten me more compliments than any other fragrance I've ever worn. God, that smells so good. It's like I'm smelling it for the first time every time I smell it. It just makes me so happy and makes me fall in love with it all over again every time I smell it. I know some people don't care for it, as with all fragrances, but it's so good to me. It's so good. Invictus Acqua. We've covered Invictus Acqua. Now let's cover Invictus. 1A and 1B with each other. Because this is one of the highest complimented fragrances I've ever worn too. Not as high as Invictus Acqua. That's my number one clear cut and dry. That's no doubt. I've gotten more compliments from that than anything else. But I've gotten my fair share from this one too. It's my favorite sweet fragrance. It's not overly sweet, but it's sweet and aquatic. It's two things that I love mashed together, and it performs. Still my favorite fragrance. Still my favorite. That's why this isn't ranked, because it would be number one if we were ranking this, because this is still my favorite fragrance, and Invictus Acqua would be number 2. But it's definitely in my top 20. Invictus, Paco Rabanne. 2 left. What could they be? Well, one of them is Prada L'Homme. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love intense. I love low. They're great. They really are. If this was a top 30, at least one of them would make it in there. If it was a top 50, both of them would make it in. This is the top 20 out of the 500 some odd bottles I have. Gotta be in the top 20. This can do it all for me. It satisfies a lot of tastes and styles in one bottle. From the versatility of what it can be worn with, the versatility of what season it can go with, which situation. It covers spices, it covers florals, it covers soapy quality, it covers all these things for me. It's just a great fragrance, and that's Prada L'Homme. And last, but most certainly not least, it was in yesterday's video at the end of the video. It's in today's video at the end of the video, because of course it's one of my 20 favorite fragrances. Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. What can I say that I haven't said before? It's such a good fragrance. Goes fantastic. Sports jacket in Oxford, like I'm wearing right now. So good. Lasts, projects pretty well without being too much or not enough. Kind of hits that sweet spot on my skin. It hits the sweet spot. I've seen people say that projects real heavy and they got to go easy on this one. Hey, different skin chemistries, different reactions, because it's all the same batch. There is no difference in batch. Reacts differently for different people, but for me, it's just the right amount of projection, especially for the attire I like to wear it with. 8 to 10 hours depending on the time of year, on if it's hot or cool. Cooler weather, I get 9 to 10 hours, which is awesome in my opinion. Just right, sweet spot. And it's masculine. It's professional. Smells formal. Smells CEO. You know? Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. Well guys, that is my 20 favorite fragrances in my collection, regardless of price, style, niche, cheapie, designer, whatever, clone house, don't matter. That's the 20. I know some of these surprised you that they made the 20, and it surprised you that others didn't make the 20. But if I was to do a larger list, probably those fragrances you're thinking of would be on it, but we're already at the 24-minute mark before any editing or anything like that. I can see the timer right now. So this is the longest video I've done in a very, very, very long time. For those of you that made it all the way through, thank you so much for sticking with me. I appreciate the loyalty and just wanting to know what I picked. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. Like I said, how many of these did you expect? How many of these do you agree with? Are they in your top 20 as well? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the fragrances that I discussed here today, and you give them a spray now, I am extremely tongue twister. I'm extremely confident that you'll thank me later, because I love these fragrances. Hell, they're my top 20 in my entire collection. Have a good one, guys.